afternoon and welcome to our weekly live videos where we take you behind the stories making headlines. My name is Moeletsi Mbeki and I'll be putting your questions and comments to our reporter. Now Moeletsi, quickly tell us, what is the story all about? Give us a brief summary.
And this story is about allegations from Prince Mashele. He's a well-known political analyst. Until last week, he was the CEO of Moeletsi Mbeki's Forum for Public Dialogue. It's a new organization. It's only just over a year old. He headed that, and then he headed the research study that was done with COSATU shop stewards. Now, he's alleging in his resignation letter that Moeletsi Mbeki helped COSATU to suppress the release of the survey results in December. Last month, journalists were invited to COSATU House for the release of that survey. But then suddenly, in the morning of the day that we were supposed to be briefed, the briefing was cancelled. Now he's alleging that this briefing was cancelled because Moeletsi Mbeki helped COSATU suppress this. COSATU did not like the results of the survey because they were more negative towards ANC President Jacob Zuma. Remember, this study was supposed to be released a week before the ANC's Mangaung conference.
So now going on to some of our readers' comments, Moeletsi, obviously some people have been very surprised by the story, and some people have been quite negative about it, including one of our readers. His name is John Markby, and he commented below your story saying, "Perhaps I am missing the point here. The report was commissioned by COSATU, therefore the report belongs to them. They decide how, when, and where to use the data. So from this, the details should be put out by COSATU and not Mbeki. If he did, he would have been in breach of his contractual obligation, I would think." I know that that was an argument used by Mbeki, that he was beholden to COSATU. What would you say to that comment?
Okay, just to help John with a little bit of background to this study. In like early 1990s, I think around 1991, Moeletsi Mbeki worked for COSATU. And at the time, he did a survey of this nature of COSATU shop stewards. Okay, and until now, there was never a follow-up study. And then Moeletsi, when he started this forum of his, approached COSATU, according to our sources, and then said to COSATU, "Listen, guys, it's been over 20 years since you did this study. I think it's about time you do a follow-up." So he offered to do that study, but it's not a COSATU commission study. It was done by the Forum for Public Dialogue. It's just that they needed COSATU's buy-in, because they needed COSATU to help them with access to the shop stewards. As courtesy and as part of the agreement was that because you gave us access to your shop stewards, before we release this study, we'll show it to you. So you'll have first access to the study before we release it to the media. But it did not say you will have a say in whether we publish the study and how we publish it and how we can tweak information and all that.
On to another reader's comment from someone called Maile. And he is casting doubt on your source, Prince Mashele. Do you think there is any reason to doubt credibility of the survey, as his reader suggests?
Prince Mashele was just the leader of the project. He didn't do the actual going to question shop stewards and all that. There is a research company called CASE. CASE was the one that was commissioned by the Forum for Public Dialogue to do the actual survey. So there's no reason to suspect that Prince Mashele could have had a hand in doctoring the study in any way.
Finally, Moeletsi, are there any last words from you about the story and the fallout and what next?
This is an interesting story because we tend to, as South Africans, worship the people who come out in public as those who represent us. We idolize them and we see what they give us in public. It's not always the case that we do background checks. It's not always the case that we want to know more about this person that we idolize. So not to say Moeletsi is wrong or not to say that what they're accusing him of is correct, but it's interesting that this will say to people, let's look beyond what we see on television screens. My sense is if I were Moeletsi and I'm advocating for all those things, I would make sure that what I do behind closed doors is exactly what I tell people to do. And he's such a big critic of BEE, and not to say he's not supposed to benefit from BEE, but I think some questionable BEE transactions, he should make an effort to distance himself from it if, it is indeed true that it compromises his independence, and he is compromising the independence of the Forum for Public Dialogue in favor of that politically connected business deal, according to the allegations.